Nestled in a remote valley, a village untouched by time rested under the shadow of misty mountains. The air was alive with the scent of wildflowers and the soft murmur of a distant brook. It was here, in this forgotten haven, that Iria and Kale found each other. Their love wasn't immediate, but like the river that carved the valley, it grew strong and unyielding over time. Iria, the daughter of a humble potter, had a spark that lit up the darkest corners of the world. Kale, a blacksmith's apprentice, was her quiet opposite, steady and strong, his laughter rare but worth the wait. Together, they dreamed of a life beyond the village, a future where their love could flourish far from the burdens of their simple lives. But not everyone rejoiced in their happiness. An old sorcerer, once a respected healer in the village, had long ago fallen for Iria. His heart, twisted by rejection, simmered with envy as he watched her and Kale. When she refused his advances for the last time, he cursed her with words that echoed like thunder, "You shall never truly hold one another. When the sun graces the sky, Kale shall stand frozen in stone, and when the moon rises, so shall Iria." The sorcerer's words were a cruel melody that reverberated in their ears as the curse took hold. The village awoke to Kale's anguished cries as he knelt beside Iria, her form cold and gray as stone. That night, when Iria woke, she found Kale in her place, his arms frozen mid-reach, as though longing to hold her even in his petrified state. The days and nights blurred into a cruel rhythm. By day, Kale roamed the valley, tending to Iria's stone form, speaking to her as though she could hear. He cleared vines that dared to creep across her face and polished her hands, desperate to keep her beauty unmarred. By night, Iria awoke to find Kale motionless, his features hardened by the curse yet softened by her love. She spent hours by his side, tracing his jawline with trembling fingers and whispering tales of the stars she had seen. Each sunrise and sunset became a moment of bittersweet parting, their love confined to the fleeting hours of twilight. The villagers began to revere them, calling them the Watchers. Some left offerings of flowers, believing the couple to be protectors of the valley. Others avoided the statues altogether, unable to face the heartbreak etched into their unmoving forms. Still, Iria and Kale fought to keep their love alive. They left tokens for one another, a delicate wildflower crown from Iria, a carved sparrow from Kale, a poem etched into the earth with trembling hands. These small gestures became their language, a lifeline in a world determined to keep them apart. Decades passed, and their story became legend, attracting wanderers and scholars alike. One such visitor was Mira, a young scholar with a passion for unraveling mysteries. She had heard the tale of the cursed lovers and came to study their plight. Mira spent weeks observing them, piecing together fragments of the curse from old scrolls and whispered stories. One night, she approached Iria, her face lit with the kind of determination that only youth and hope could bring. "There is a way," Mira said, her voice tinged with both excitement and caution. "During an eclipse, when the sun and moon share the sky, the curse will break." "But..." Iria leaned forward, her hope faltering at Mira's hesitation. "One of you must remain stone forever," Mira explained, her voice heavy. "Only then can the other be free." Iria's chest tightened as the weight of the revelation settled. She knew Kale would never allow her to make the sacrifice, and she couldn't imagine a world where he no longer existed. The day of the eclipse arrived, draping the valley in an ethereal twilight. For the first time in decades, Iria and Kale stood before each other, flesh and blood, their hands trembling as they intertwined. Kale pulled her close, his voice a low whisper against her hair. "I've dreamed of this moment every day." "So have I," Iria replied, tears slipping down her cheeks. "But it's too cruel to take it from us now." Kale cupped her face, his thumbs brushing away her tears. "Then we won't choose. We'll face whatever comes together." As the eclipse reached its peak, the shadow of the moon began to recede, and the curse demanded its price. A faint shimmer surrounded them as their bodies grew heavier, their skin cooling to stone. But their hands remained clasped, their expressions serene. When the villagers arrived, they found two statues standing side by side, their hands forever entwined. Iria's face rested against Kale's shoulder, and Kale gazed down at her with an expression of peace. The villagers built a shrine around them, and over time, the lovers became symbols of devotion and sacrifice. Travelers came from far and wide to marvel at the statues and leave offerings, inspired by a love so profound it had transcended life itself. Though Iria and Kale could no longer speak, their love endured in the hearts of all who knew their tale, a love unbroken, even by the weight of stone.